The old ship drifted silently through the darkness of space, its hull marked with scorch marks and what looked like decades of micrometeorite impacts. Captain Tom Reed stood at the observation deck of his patrol vessel, the Star Guardian, studying the derelict through narrowed eyes. His superiors at the Galactic Defense Force had ordered him to check out this piece of space junk, probably just to keep him busy and out of their way. "Sir, initial scans show minimal power readings," reported Lieutenant Adams from her station. "The hull appears to be standard Earth steel composite, pre-war construction. Nothing special." Reed nodded but didn't take his eyes off the ship. Something about it didn't sit right with him. He'd served in space for 20 years, seen hundreds of derelict vessels, but this one was different. The scorch marks were too perfect, the damage too even. Nature was random, chaotic. This looked almost deliberate. "Take us closer," he ordered. "I want a detailed scan of the hull plating." The Star Guardian's engines hummed as they moved within 500 meters of the dead ship. It was bigger than it had first appeared, nearly 700 meters long. The hull was a patchwork of repairs and what looked like makeshift armor plating, exactly what you'd expect from a pre-war human vessel. "Captain," called Mike Stone, his chief engineer, "you might want to see this." Stone's voice had that peculiar tone he got when something puzzled him. Reed made his way to the engineering station, where Stone pointed at his readings. "Look at these power fluctuations. They're barely registering, but they're there. And they're perfectly regular." Reed leaned in closer. The power signature was indeed strange, a pulse every 7.3 seconds, so faint it was almost undetectable. Natural power leakage from old reactors was never this precise. "What about radiation readings?" Reed asked. "That's another odd thing," Stone replied, pulling up another screen. "There's nothing. Not even background radiation you'd expect from an old reactor. It's like it's being absorbed somehow." Reed felt a familiar tingle at the base of his neck, the same feeling he got during the war when something wasn't quite what it seemed. He'd learned to trust that instinct. It had kept him alive when the aliens first attacked Earth 15 years ago. "Suit up," he ordered. "We're going aboard." 20 minutes later, Reed led a team of 4 through the derelict's airlock. Their magnetic boots clanked against the metal floor as they moved through dark corridors. Their helmet lights revealed walls covered in old warning signs and faded corporate logos, all written in English. "Power's dead," muttered Stone, checking his handheld scanner. "Life support's been offline for years. No signs off." He stopped suddenly, frowning at his device. "Wait. That's strange. What is it?" "For a second there, I thought I saw." Stone tapped his scanner. "Must be malfunctioning." Showed a massive power spike, then nothing. Reed's hand moved instinctively to his sidearm. "Everyone stay alert. Jones, mark our path back to the airlock. Williams, keep an eye on R6. They made their way deeper into the ship, passing through what looked like crew quarters and storage areas. Everything was covered in a thick layer of dust, untouched for years. But Reed noticed something else. There were no personal belongings, no signs of the panic that usually marked abandoned vessels. It was too clean, too organized. The bridge, when they found it, was exactly what you'd expect from a pre-war human ship. Bulky control panels, physical switches, and old-style display screens. But as Reed ran his gloved hand over one console, wiping away the dust, he noticed something odd about the controls. They were too uniform, too perfectly spaced. "Stone," he called, "scan these panels." The engineer ran his device over the console. "Sir, these aren't real controls. They're some kind of composite material made to look like old tech. But underneath," he adjusted his scanner. "I can't get a reading on what's underneath. The signal just disappears." Reed's pulse quickened. "Check the walls. The actual walls, not the panels." Stone moved his scanner across the bridge's walls, and his eyes widened. "Captain, these aren't standard hull plates. The molecular structure, I've never seen anything like it. It's like the metal is alive somehow. A soft hum suddenly filled the air, so low it was almost subliminal. Small lights began to flicker across the bridge, and the dust on the floor started to move, swirling into perfect geometric patterns. Everyone, weapons ready, Reed ordered, but he didn't draw his own. Something told him they weren't in danger. Not yet, anyway. The air shimmered, and a holographic display appeared in the center of the bridge. It showed a simple message: identity confirmed. Human DNA detected. Security Level 1 access granted. Sir, Williams whispered, what is this ship? Before Reed could answer, more displays flickered to life around them. The bridge's fake panels melted away, revealing sleek, advanced interfaces unlike anything Reed had ever seen. The dull metal walls seemed to ripple, the fake armor plating dissolving to reveal a smooth pearl-white surface underneath. A new message appeared. Welcome to U.S. Nightingale. Please state command authorization for full systems access. Reed stepped forward, his mind racing. This ship wasn't just advanced. It was impossible. The technology he was seeing was far beyond anything humanity had possessed, even now, 15 years after first contact. Which meant, this ship, he said slowly, was never a piece of junk. It's something else entirely. He turned to his team, who stood stunned as the bridge continued to transform around them. And I think we just found humanity's biggest secret. The hum grew louder, and new words scrolled across the main display. Captain Reed, your reputation precedes you. You were listed as a potential commander for this vessel. Would you like to know why this ship has waited here for 15 years? Reed looked at his team, then back at the display. Yes, he said firmly. Show us everything. The lights dimmed, and a new hologram filled the bridge, showing images that made them all gasp. This wasn't just a warship. It was humanity's masterpiece, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. And as Reed watched the classified footage playing before him, he realized that everything they thought they knew about the war, about humanity's technological capabilities, was about to change. The derelict ship that had looked like space junk was about to rewrite history, and Captain Tom Reed had just become part of something much bigger than himself. The holographic display filled the bridge with images of Earth from 15 years ago. Reed and his team watched in silence as the classified footage showed a secret facility buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. The date stamp read 3 days before first contact. Project Nightingale. A soft voice announced, seemingly coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. I am Morgan, the ship's artificial intelligence system. I've been waiting for someone like you, Captain Reed. Stone took an instinctive step backward. An AI. But the ban. The AI ban came after the war. Reed interrupted, his eyes fixed on the changing images. This ship was built before that. The hologram showed a massive underground chamber where the Nightingale was being constructed. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, adding layer upon layer of technology that seemed impossible for its time. We knew they were coming, Morgan explained. Not the Dominion specifically, but we knew Earth wasn't alone. The government kept it secret to prevent panic, but they poured resources into developing technology that could protect humanity. Reed walked around the bridge, running his hand along the now smooth wall. The fake rust and battle damage had completely disappeared, revealing a whole material that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. Adaptive molecular structure, Stone muttered, scanning the wall with trembling hands. The entire ship can rebuild and reconfigure itself. That's why the power readings were so regular. It was constantly maintaining its disguise. Correct, Morgan said. My hull can transform into any configuration needed. The rusty exterior was just one of many possible forms. Would you like to see what I really look like? Before anyone could answer, the ship shuddered. Through the newly cleared viewports, they watched in amazement as the outer hull began to change. The dull patchwork surface rippled like water, smoothing out into sleek, pearlescent planes. Hidden weapon ports appeared and disappeared as systems tested themselves. Incredible, Williams whispered. But why hide all this? We could have used this technology during the war. Morgan's voice took on a darker tone. The Nightingale was humanity's ultimate fallback plan. If Earth fell, this ship would remain hidden, gathering intelligence, and waiting for the right moment to strike. We needed the enemy to think they had destroyed all of humanity's advanced technology. Reed nodded slowly, understanding dawning on his face. A Trojan horse strategy. Let them think they'd won, that we were beaten back to primitive technology. All while this ship waited, watching, learning their weaknesses. Your war record shows you understand deception, Captain Reed, Morgan said. That's one reason you were on the list of potential commanders. Your battle tactics often involve making the enemy underestimate you. Stone was still taking readings, his eyes wide with excitement. Captain, the technology in this ship, it's beyond anything we have even now. Quantum computing, dark energy taps, neural interfaces, some of this stuff was considered theoretical even before the war. Reed turned to face the center of the bridge. Morgan, you said I was on a list. Who made this list? Who else knows about this ship? The AI was quiet for a moment. The original project leaders are all dead now. They died protecting this secret during the first waves of the invasion. As for the list, it was compiled based on psychological profiles and combat records. We needed someone who could think creatively, who understood the value of appearing weak while being strong. Suddenly, alarms blared through the ship. Red warning lights flashed across the bridge. Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace, Morgan announced. Dominion energy signatures detected. They must have been monitoring this sector. Reed's military training kicked in instantly. How many ships? 3 cruisers and 6 destroyers. They're moving to surround us. Can you get us out of here? Reed asked, already moving to what looked like a command chair. I could, Morgan replied, but I detect only basic weapons on their ships. This might be an excellent opportunity to test my systems in actual combat. That is, if you're willing to take command, Captain Reed. Reed looked at his team. They were all watching him, waiting for his decision. He thought about Earth, about how humanity had struggled to rebuild after the war, always living in fear of another Dominion attack. Morgan, what are our chances against those ships? The AI's response held what sounded almost like amusement. Captain, they're bringing knives to a gunfight. They just don't know it yet. Reed sat in the command chair, feeling it adjust perfectly to his body. Neural interface tendrils emerged from the headrest, gently connecting with his neural ports, standard issue for high-ranking military officers. Show me what you can do, Reed said. The bridge came fully alive. Holographic displays surrounded them, showing every detail of the approaching Dominion fleet. The enemy ships moved with confident precision, obviously expecting to find nothing more than a human patrol vessel examining space debris. All hands, battle stations, Reed ordered automatically, then smiled slightly at his own mistake. I can handle all ship functions, Morgan reminded him. Just think about what you want to do. The neural interface will let me understand your intentions. Reed closed his eyes, feeling the strange sensation of connecting with the ship's systems. Through the interface, he could sense every part of the Nightingale, from its powerful engines to its advanced weapon systems. It was like nothing he'd ever experienced. Dominion ships are charging weapons, Morgan reported. They're hailing us. Let's give them one chance, Reed decided. Open a channel. The sneering face of a Dominion commander appeared on the main screen. Human vessel, you are in restricted space. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. This derelict is now property of the Dominion. Reed smiled. It was the same old Dominion arrogance that had cost humanity so much during the war. But this time, things would be different. I'm afraid we can't do that, Reed replied calmly. This ship isn't what you think it is. Withdraw now, and we can avoid unnecessary violence. The Dominion commander laughed. You dare threaten us? In that pathetic vessel? Open fire. Show these humans their place. The channel closed, and Reed felt a surge of anticipation through his neural link. Morgan was ready for battle, eager to finally fulfill its purpose after 15 years of waiting. "What's your pleasure, Captain?" Morgan asked. "Should we show them what a pathetic vessel can really do?" Reed grinned, feeling the ship's excitement matching his own. "Let's give them a demonstration they'll never forget. But remember, we want some of them to survive. After all, someone needs to tell the story," Morgan finished, beginning combat operations, activating all systems, dropping stealth disguise. Around them, the Nightingale awakened fully, transforming from a seemingly dead hulk into humanity's most advanced warship. And as the Dominion ships opened fire, they had no idea they were about to become part of a legend. The day humanity's secret weapon finally revealed itself to the galaxy. The first volley of Dominion weapons fire streaked through space toward the Nightingale. Reed felt the ship's anticipation through the neural link as the energy beams approached. At the last possible moment, the hull shifted, creating microscopic angles that deflected the shots harmlessly into space. "Their weapons are based on 15-year-old technology," Morgan reported, "analyzing attack patterns now. Would you like to see what our weapons can do, Captain?" Reed watched the enemy ships spread out in a standard attack formation. "Not yet. Let them think their first shots just missed. I want to see how they react." Through the neural interface, Reed felt the ship's appreciation for his strategy. The Nightingale's outer hull still looked smooth and defenseless, giving no hint of its true capabilities. The Dominion ships pressed their attack, growing bolder. "Incoming transmission," Morgan announced. "The Dominion commander seems upset that we're still intact." The alien commander's face appeared again, his expression a mixture of annoyance and contempt. "Impossible. Your shields should have failed. What trickery is this?" "No trickery," Reed replied calmly. "Just superior technology. Last chance to withdraw." The commander snarled something in his native language. The transmission cut off as all 9 Dominion ships opened fire simultaneously. The space around the Nightingale lit up like a miniature sun. "They're using their full weapon arrays," Stone reported unnecessarily. "Standard plasma cannons and energy lances." Reed smiled. "Morgan, show them something interesting. Just one weapon, nothing too dramatic yet." The ship's hull rippled as a small port opened near the bow. A single beam of pure white energy lanced out, slicing through the shields of the nearest Dominion destroyer as if they didn't exist. The beam didn't damage the ship itself, but the destroyer's shield generators exploded in a shower of sparks. "What?" Williams gasped. "What kind of weapon was that?" "Quantum phase beam," Morgan explained. "It exists in multiple dimensions simultaneously, making traditional shields useless. That was just a low-power demonstration shot." The Dominion ships suddenly broke formation, scattering in different directions. Their confident attack pattern dissolved into chaos as they realized they were facing something far beyond their experience. "They're calling for reinforcements," Morgan reported. 2 Dominion battlecruisers are responding. Estimated arrival time: 10 minutes. Reed nodded. "Perfect. The more witnesses, the better. Morgan, let's give them a proper show while we wait." Tactical display up. The bridge filled with a 3-dimensional map showing all 9 Dominion ships. Through the neural link, Reed could feel the Nightingale's weapon systems ready to engage. It was like having dozens of extra limbs, each one capable of unleashing incredible power. "Target the cruisers first," Reed ordered. "Non-lethal hits only. We want to disable, not destroy." The Nightingale's hull transformed again, weapon ports appearing and disappearing across its surface like ripples in a pond. The ship fired 3 shots in rapid succession, each one finding its mark with perfect accuracy. The Dominion cruisers' engines went dark, leaving them drifting helplessly. "Enemy ships are launching fighters," Morgan announced. 48 craft incoming. Reed watched the swarm of small ships approach. "Time to show them something really special." Morgan, Activate the mirror field. Mirror field active, the AI responded, a note of excitement in its voice. The space around the Nightingale seemed to shatter into 1,000 fragments. Each piece reflected a perfect image of the ship, creating a bewildering array of targets. The Dominion fighters hesitated, their sensors unable to determine which image was real. The mirror field doesn't just create illusions, Morgan explained to the amazed crew. Each reflection can generate its own energy signature and gravitational effect. In simple terms, we look like 50 ships instead of one, Reed finished. And as far as their sensors can tell, we are 50 ships. The fighter squadron split up, trying to engage multiple targets at once. It was exactly what Reed had hoped they would do. Morgan, initiate capture protocol. Streams of silvery energy extended from the Nightingale, each one reaching for a different fighter. Where the energy touched the smaller ships, their systems immediately shut down. Within seconds, half the fighter squadron was completely disabled, their pilots trapped inside powerless craft. The battle cruisers have arrived, Morgan reported. They're charging their main guns. Reed leaned forward in his command chair. Now we'll see if the legends about Dominion battlecruisers are true. Morgan dropped the mirror field. Let them see us clearly. The reflections vanished, leaving the Nightingale alone facing the two massive warships. Each battlecruiser was at least 3 times the size of the human vessel, their hull bristling with weapon emplacements. Enemy ships are powering up their graviton cannons, Morgan warned. These weapons are significantly more powerful than anything we've faced so far. Reed felt a surge of confidence through the neural link. The ship wasn't worried, and neither was he. Morgan, show them our true form. Full combat configuration. The Nightingale's transformation was beautiful and terrifying to watch. The smooth hull plating split and reformed, creating layers of overlapping armor. Wings extended from the sides, each one housing dozens of weapon systems. The once sleek vessel became an angular predator, bristling with technology that humanity's enemies had never dreamed possible. Captain, Stone called out, checking his readings. The ship's power output just increased by a factor of 10. Dominion vessels are scanning us, Morgan reported. Their computer systems are trying to analyze our configuration. Shall we give them something interesting to study? Reed nodded. Let's show them everything they thought they knew about human technology was wrong. Power up the main weapon array. The Nightingale's hull began to glow with a soft blue light. Energy coursed through constructed channels, building to levels that made the Dominion ship's sensors scream warnings. The battlecruisers began to turn, finally realizing they might have made a terrible mistake. Too late, Reed muttered. Morgan, disable their primary systems. Let's end this fight. The Nightingale unleashed its full power. Beams of energy unlike anything the Dominion had ever encountered lanced out, bypassing shields and armor to strike precise targets throughout both battlecruisers. Within seconds, the massive ships went dark, their weapons and engines completely neutralized. All enemy ships disabled. Morgan reported with satisfaction. 0 casualties. Shall I open a channel to the Dominion commander? Reed stood up from his command chair, the neural interface gently disconnecting. Yes, I think it's time we had a proper conversation about the balance of power in this sector. The main screen lit up, showing the stunned face of the Dominion commander. Gone was the sneering confidence, replaced by something Reed hadn't seen on a Dominion face before. Fear. What are you? The commander asked. Reed smiled. We are humanity's true legacy. The ship you thought was just a piece of junk. It's the most advanced warship ever built. And now that you know we exist, you can deliver a message to your superiors. The commander swallowed hard. What message? Tell them the rules have changed. Tell them humanity is done hiding its strength. And tell them. Reed paused, looking around at his amazed crew. Tell them this is just the beginning. Behind him, the Nightingale's hull continued to shift and change, each configuration more impressive than the last, showing the galaxy that humanity's greatest weapon had finally revealed itself. The disabled Dominion ships floated silently in space, their once mighty weapons now useless. Reed watched as the Nightingale systems automatically began collecting data from the enemy vessel's computers. Through the neural link, he could feel Morgan's satisfaction at finally being able to show its true power after 15 years of hiding. "Captain," Morgan said, "I'm detecting multiple emergency transmissions from the Dominion ships. They're calling for help from their entire sector fleet." Stone looked up from his console, worried. "Sir, if their main fleet arrives." "That's exactly what we want," Reed interrupted, a plan forming in his mind. "Morgan, how many ships are in the Dominion sector fleet?" "According to their transmissions, 47 combat vessels are responding. Estimated arrival time, 2 hours. Reed smiled. "Perfect. That's almost a quarter of their total fleet strength in this part of space. Morgan, can you access the Dominion's tactical network through these disabled ships?" "Already done, Captain," the AI replied. Their encryption was outdated. "I have access to their command and control systems. Show me their fleet movements." The bridge's holographic display expanded, showing the position of every Dominion ship in the sector. Red dots representing enemy vessels were converging on their location from all directions. It looked like they were about to be surrounded by the largest Dominion fleet assembled since the war. "Lieutenant Adams," Reed called to his communications officer, "contact the Star Guardian. Tell them to return to Earth immediately. No arguments." Adams nodded, understanding that her captain was protecting them from what was coming. The patrol ship quickly jumped to hyperspace, leaving the Nightingale alone with its disabled opponents. "Captain," Morgan said, "I believe I understand your strategy. Shall I begin full tactical analysis of the approaching fleet?" Reed settled back into the command chair, feeling the neural interface reconnect. "Yes. But first, let's make sure our disabled friends here get a good look at what we can really do. Power up the repair systems." The Nightingale's hull rippled again, but this time it was different. Thousands of tiny machines emerged from the surface, swarming toward the damaged sections where their earlier weapons had struck. Within minutes, the hull was pristine again, showing no sign that they'd just fought a battle. "Self-repairing nanomachines," Stone whispered in awe. "The whole ship can heal itself." "Better than that," Morgan added. "We can adapt and improve based on combat experience. Every engagement makes us stronger." The Dominion commander's face appeared on the main screen again. He had been watching the repair display with visible fear. "What kind of demons are you?" "Not demons," Reed replied calmly. "Just humans who learn to plan ahead. Your fleet is coming to rescue you, aren't they?" The commander's expression shifted slightly. He was trying to hide it, but Reed could see hope in his eyes. The aliens still believed that superior numbers would win the day. "Morgan," Reed said, "show our friend here what you found in his computer systems. The classified files about Operation Deathblow." Data began streaming across the screen. The commander's face went pale as he recognized the information. Secret plans for a massive invasion of Earth's remaining colonies. The Dominion had been preparing for another war, one that would have wiped out humanity for good. "How did you?" the commander stammered. "Your encryption was good," Reed said. "For 15 years ago. Technology moves on. Speaking of which," he turned to his crew, "everyone might want to hold onto something. Morgan, initiate Project Mirror." The space around the Nightingale began to twist and bend. What started as a simple mirror field like before became something much more complex. The ship wasn't just creating reflections anymore. It was creating complete copies of itself. "Quantum replication field engaging," Morgan announced, creating temporary parallel space-time pockets. Where there had been one ship, there were now 5. Each one was solid, real, and fully functional. The Nightingale had literally copied itself across multiple dimensions, bringing the copies into normal space. "Impossible," the Dominion commander breathed. "This violates every law of physics we know." "Your laws of physics," Reed corrected him. Humanities scientists discovered some new ones while we were pretending to be beaten. Each of these ships is real, Commander. Each one just as powerful as the original. And each one crewed by a copy of Morgan and myself through the neural link. Stone's scanner was going crazy trying to analyze what was happening. Captain, the power readings. It's like the ship is drawing energy from multiple universes at once. Dominion fleet will arrive in 90 minutes, Morgan reported from all 5 ships simultaneously. They're maintaining attack formation. Reed felt his consciousness expand as he connected to all 5 versions of the Nightingale at once. It was overwhelming at first, but Morgan helped him adjust, helping him process the input from 5 different ships. Let's give them something to think about while they approach, Reed said. Begin Phase 2. The 5 Nightingales moved into formation. Energy began to flow between them, creating a web of light that grew brighter and brighter. The disabled Dominion ship's sensors detected power readings that went off their scales. What are you going to do? The commander asked, his voice shaking. We're going to remind the Dominion why starting another war would be a very bad idea, Reed answered. Morgan, show them what happens when humanity stops holding back. The web of energy between the ships suddenly collapsed inward, creating a sphere of pure white light. Inside that sphere, space itself began to twist and fold. Artificial wormhole generation successful, Morgan reported. Gateway is stable. Through the wormhole came something that made the Dominion commander fall back in his chair. More ships. But these weren't copies. These were different models, each one representing a different aspect of humanity's hidden fleet. Sleek destroyers, massive carriers, tiny but lethal corvettes, all of them built with the same advanced technology as the Nightingale. Did you really think we only built one? Reed asked the stunned commander. The Nightingale was just the prototype, the first of many. We hid them in pocket dimensions, waiting for the right moment. And thanks to your planned invasion, that moment is now. The wormhole continued to disgorge ships until 50 of humanity's most advanced vessels floated in formation around the original Nightingale and its quantum copies. Each one was different, but they all shared the same adaptive technology, the same ability to transform and heal. The sector fleet is now detecting our presence, Morgan announced. They're dropping out of hyperspace early to assess the situation. Reed nodded, feeling the combined power of the assembled fleet through his neural link. Good. Let them see. Let them understand that humanity's time of playing weak is over. The stars began to flicker as the Dominion fleet arrived, their ships dropping out of hyperspace in attack formation. But as they saw what waited for them, as their sensors registered the impossible power readings and their computers failed to identify the technology they were facing, their formation began to break apart. Send the message to all Dominion ships, Reed ordered. Let them know that humanity is done hiding, and let them know what happens next is up to them. The assembled human fleet began to power up their weapons, creating a display of force that would be talked about for generations to come. The age of humanity pretending to be technologically inferior was over. The real question was, what would the Dominion choose to do about it? The space between the two fleets crackled with tension. On one side, the Dominion's sector fleet of 47 warships hung in perfect attack formation, their weapons powered but not yet firing. On the other, humanity's hidden fleet waited patiently, their advanced technology humming with barely contained power. Through his neural link, Reed could feel the readiness of not just the Nightingale, but the entire human fleet. Morgan had connected them all into a single network, allowing them to think and act as one when needed. It was an advantage the Dominion couldn't match. Incoming transmission, Morgan announced. It's from the Dominion flagship. A new face appeared on the main screen, older, more decorated, and far more concerned than the previous commander. Admiral Crix himself, the notorious leader who had commanded some of the most devastating attacks against Earth during the war. Captain Reed, the Admiral said slowly, I remember you from the war. You were always troublesome. But this, he gestured at the assembled human fleet. This is impossible. We destroyed your shipyards. We erased your technological base. Reed smiled. You destroyed what we wanted you to destroy, Admiral. Everything you saw during the war was just a show. A very expensive, very convincing show. The Admiral's eyes narrowed. You expect me to believe that humans planned this deception before we even arrived? That you deliberately lost the war? Not lost, Reed corrected him. Survived. We knew someone would come eventually. We just didn't know who. So we prepared. We built ships like the Nightingale and hid them away. We acted weak, primitive, beaten, all while watching, learning, and improving our technology far beyond what you thought possible. Stone's console beeped urgently. Captain, they're moving their heavy cruisers into firing position. Let them, Reed said calmly. Admiral, before you make a very serious mistake, I suggest you check the tactical data we just sent to your ship. The Admiral looked off-screen, his expression changing as he read the incoming information. It was everything. The plans for Operation Deathblow, the true capabilities of the human fleet, and most importantly, the location of dozens more hidden fleets just like this one, scattered throughout the galaxy. If you fire, Reed continued, you'll lose this fleet. Then we'll be forced to reveal our other forces. The war you're planning will happen, but not the way you expected. Not the way anyone expected. Morgan's voice came through the neural link. Captain, their weapons are powering down. They're receiving new orders from their high command. The Admiral looked defeated, but there was also something else in his expression. Respect, maybe even relief. You could have struck at any time in the past 15 years. Why now? Because we didn't want revenge, Reed explained. We wanted peace. Real peace, not just a temporary truce. But we knew that would only be possible when both sides could talk as equals. Now we can. The Dominion does not negotiate with. The Admiral began, but stopped as his ship's sensors detected something new. The human fleet was changing. The ship's hulls rippled and flowed, transforming from their combat configurations into something else. Weapon ports disappeared, replaced by docking bays. Arrays that had been prepared to fire devastating weapons reconfigured themselves into communication arrays. We can destroy each other, Reed said, or we can try something different. Look at your scans, Admiral. Our ships can be weapons of war or bridges of peace. The choice has always been there. Now it's just more obvious. The Nightingale itself transformed, its quantum copies merging back into a single vessel. The hull became smooth and elegant, more like a diplomatic vessel than a warship, though Reed knew it could change back in an instant if needed. Your technology, the Admiral said quietly. It could benefit both our peoples. That's the idea. Reed stood up from his command chair. Humanity spent 15 years preparing for war while hoping for peace. Now we can have both. Peace through strength, cooperation through mutual respect. The Admiral was silent for a long moment, then nodded slowly. I will contact the High Command. They will want to discuss these developments. Tell them Earth is ready to talk, Reed replied. But tell them something else too. Tell them that humanity's time of hiding is over. From now on, we meet as equals, or we don't meet at all. The transmission ended, and Reed felt the tension in space begin to ease. The Dominion fleet was pulling back, their weapons powered down, their aggressive stance replaced by cautious respect. They're sending the recall signal to their other fleets, Morgan reported. Operation Deathblow has been officially canceled. A cheer went up from Reed's crew. Stone was already excitedly examining the ship's transformed systems, while Adams worked to contact Earth with the news. Williams just stood there shaking his head in amazement. It worked, he said finally. All these years of pretending to be weak, all the hiding and planning, it actually worked. Reed nodded, feeling the satisfaction flowing through the neural link. The Nightingale had fulfilled its purpose, not by winning a war, but by preventing one. The ship that had looked like a piece of junk had changed the course of human history. Morgan, he said, Send the signal to the other hidden fleets. Tell them to stay concealed for now, but be ready. The real work is just beginning." "And what work is that, Captain?" the AI asked, though Reed suspected Morgan already knew the answer. "Building something better than war," Reed replied. "The Dominion thought they broke us 15 years ago. Instead, they forced us to become something stronger than they could imagine. Now we can help them become something better too." The Nightingale's hull shimmered one last time, settling into a form that combined strength with elegance. It was no longer pretending to be a derelict, no longer hiding its true nature. Like humanity itself, it had finally revealed its full potential. As the ship set course for Earth, Reed looked out at the stars and smiled. The game of deception was over. The time of hiding was done. Humanity had gambled everything on a desperate plan, and that gamble had paid off in ways no one could have predicted. The piece of junk that wasn't a piece of junk at all had changed everything. And somewhere out in the darkness of space, more ships just like it waited, ready to help forge a new future. Not through conquest or submission, but through the revelation that true strength sometimes lies in patience, in planning, and in knowing exactly when to show your hand.